All right, I am confident that you can figure this out after I'm gone. You're not going to lose any money. I don't know how many times I had to repeat that phrase. I'm confident you're not going to lose any money, and you can figure it out after the card transfer. I've had to railroad two businesses and argue with one, and then I'll just bring up Walmart's as a fourth. That's over with though now. Walmart, that's over. That getting gift cards is a big hassle with Walmart and Safeway and Albertsons and Vons. Actually, three of those businesses are pretty much all the same. And I'll never get those big gift cards again. Walmart's been a hassle. I didn't get as much money. I only got $200 at that, so that went kind of quickly. But they always had to call a CSM over, and they had to input the numbers twice because the magnetic strip would not work. That's over. Safeway's different. They don't do it like that. Albertsons a little different from Safeway even, but they're the same. They're under the same umbrella shell company. But I keep telling them, you type EFT and cancel. Those are two separate buttons. And then you swipe it like you swipe groceries. And that's worked up until today. They listened to me today. They pressed EFT cancel, and then it wouldn't swipe for some reason. And they tried it on two different registers. So that's when the problems really started for this one. It's just like, I had to get my groceries canceled, leave that grocery lane, go over to the service desk, and the guy was talking to a lady as I was waiting in line, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I don't know how to do this." So when he got done with the lady, which she didn't help her with anything, I don't even know what's. He's like, I think she had to come back later. He's like, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I don't have much confidence that you can." And he couldn't, of course. So it was like 5 minutes with him trying to do the EFT cancel. He's trying to swipe the magnetic strip that's broken and all of this. So then the check counter, the front end desk lady showed up. Apparently, it sounded like she was pushing carts or something. She came and she wasn't able to help me out, and she was pretty much getting upset with me because I was arguing with her about the process. I was like, okay, should I call the number on the back of my gift card and confirm how much is on there for you? All right, and I did that. And in the process of my calling, I accidentally called 911. That was kind of early on. And then it got in touch. I put it on speakerphone so she could hear, but she was helping somebody, so she missed it. But she knew how to get back to listening to the amount that I had on there, and it was enough. I still have a bit to spend on this card, and then that just wasn't enough for her, even though I checked how much I had on my card, and then we talked to like a lady who represents the phone number that we call, and she couldn't help. She gave a number though of somebody who could help, but we couldn't get through to that person. That was like the accountant. The manager shows up, and he was giving me a hard time. I think he was a little incompetent about his work, about his job, because then I started to explain. Okay, well, since the card won't swipe, he's like, "Oh, we can't do anything because the card won't swipe, and we're not allowed to input the numbers. So we're at a loss with your card, with the Safeway card. They can't get it to work. At least Walmart's, got the key or something, that magical key they put into the cash register, and that unlocks the certain things. This Safeway system." An Albertsons system is pretty bad. It makes the manager look incompetent. Maybe he's not incompetent. It's just he's working with the resources that he has, and they're limited. All right. So he couldn't do anything, and I explained to him at Albertsons, and as a young girl at Albertsons, this is back, well, I changed this card out once before back in Spokane, Washington, and as a young girl, we eventually figured, okay, let's just switch cards. We're not going to lose anything, because they're just, I'll give you my old card, you give me a new one that should swipe, but... that worked with Spokane. I've switched from Safeway to Albertsons, and then this Albertsons card that I brought wasn't working, so I was like, okay, let's just switch from Albertsons back to Safeway, the Safeway gift card, which, it's under the same umbrella. And he's like, oh, I don't know how to input that. I don't want to lose the money. He was afraid that he was going to lose the money somehow. He thought, and I that's why I kept having to repeat myself. I'm confident you can get this figured out after the transaction with me, after we change out these cards. You're not going to lose any money. You're going to get my old card back. So it took a long time. The cops showed up, and they're like, you okay, sir? To me, because I was standing next to the phone. He knew exactly that it was me, that he needed to ask if I was okay. Because when I called 911, I hung up immediately. I didn't explain anything. Which, if I would have explained something, maybe they wouldn't have sent the cops. I would have been like, oh yeah, this store has a 911 set up where you dial 9 to get out, and then you dial your number. But what I did is I dialed 91 and then 1888 to get out. So it was a 911. You could go on Safeway phone and dial 911, and it takes you to 911. And then the cop shows up, asked me if I was okay. He didn't ID me or anything, just asked if I was okay, and that was it. He suggested to the store manager maybe you could change it to 81, so that doesn't happen again. I'm kind of a rare case, and this is a big Safeway. This is a 1.5 size Safeway from regular Safeways I've seen. It's just massive. They got a lot of marketing experiments, I think, in there with new products and stuff. There are some products there I have never seen before. But all I wanted was my chicken and some sauce, and it took me 30 minutes to get that. And that's just with the Safeway card. My biggest issue is getting my bank card from my credit union, and I needed to provide an address, and I had to do some searching. I went over to this family housing, I forget the name, they help homeless people. It said in their website they help individuals. So I went over there, and they're like, we only help families. So I gave them a 1-star on the Google Maps, because I was not happy to see that. I could tell by her tone of voice that that's all she was going to stand for, or helping families. And I get it, individual homeless people are kind of a risk to help anyway. But her organization seems a little shady. So I was quick with that interaction. So then I looked for a Salvation Army, and I found that. But I also found this HRDC, which is across the post office downtown here, and they help out with homeless people. When I showed up there after the Safeway incident, 30 minutes with the Safeway incident, just down the street, I said, hey, I asked the HRDC lady, and I recorded it a little bit, do you give addresses? Can I get an address to send one piece of mail, my bank card, to this address? And she's like, oh, we got to have you sit down with a case manager and fill out all this paperwork. And I mean, it didn't work like that in Spokane, Washington. You just give the address for that homeless shelter, the Dignity Center or something. I forget the name of it. And you just then show up and ask, is there any mail for my name? But I had to go through a program with HRDC. But it took some railroading, because I railroaded the Safeway guy. He said he wasn't happy about trying to just get it settled with me at the point. We did get it settled, but he's like, oh, we normally mail a new card to you. Like, what? I can't get the groceries today. I have to wait, how long? A couple of weeks for a new card to show up? I had to railroad him on that one. And I did get a new card, and then I paid with that new card. It swiped. So I'm back to Albertsons with that. HRDC I had to railroad as well, and say that, I was asking, if there's paperwork, let me fill it out ahead of time. She's like, no, you have to do that with the case manager. And the case manager's at lunch, and it's no set time when they come back. Some lady. And I got the case manager's email, but I don't need his trash now. But I was like, okay, well, you're saying that this case manager needs to chaperone me as I fill out paperwork? And then I tried to explain the situation. I just needed one piece of mail, and eventually she caved. She's like, okay, we'll break a few rules. All right. So I guess I railroaded her. She broke a few rules, and she pulled out the paperwork, and we filled it out right there. So as soon as I got that address, it's a P.O. box, I came back to the library, and now I sent it to RCU, and I'm like, this is my official address, send the card. And now I'm not clear if they're going to send it FedEx, like a next day or fast delivery, because this is card number 3, or if they're going to do the 5 to 7 business days. Either way, I'm not going to mention the city I'm in, but I might be stuck here longer than I care to, and it's getting a little chilly at nights. Only at nights. It's pretty hot right now in the car. So it's been a lot of really pushing people. I've really had to push and question their rules a little more than I'm used to. I'm used to just kind of relaxing every day and taking it easy. You know, maybe when the cop shows up who wants to give me harass me on something, I deal with that. But that's kind of, with cops, it's kind of a routine with these situations. I understand business and how it works a little bit. With Safeway, it's like, you don't need to figure out the inputs with the accounting process while I'm there trying to purchase, for exchanging an old bad unswipeable gift card for a new swipeable gift card. Safeway falls under the umbrella of Vons and Albertsons. So he's getting the old card. It's not like I'm gonna have a new card with my money on it, and then also have my old card with the money on it. So I'm like, oh, I doubled it. It's just ripping him off. No, he's just the accounting. He thought he needed to figure out while I was there, and I think that's bad policy. I think he's kind of incompetent though, in a way. But that's with the training. That's with the resources they work with. So I mean, that's nothing I can blame him too much for. It's just when he says, well, we've always just mailed a new card to you. I'm like, the cards are in the store. You don't need to mail me a card. You probably pull it off the shelf anyway to mail it. Yeah, I don't like that he was really sticking with that. I really had to push him for, I'm confident that you're not going to lose money. And you should be able to figure this out afterward. And then they discussed something about inputs or something while I was there, about how to input it at the cash register, debit, credits, whatever. So it's this money stuff. It's with gift cards, with cards not swiping, with the bank not accepting a business address or a general delivery address. That's why I had to go through HRDC for that P.O. box. P.O. box should be okay, not a business address. Not a general delivery. That's what Visa has in their rules for some reason. No general delivery, no business address. It has to go to a physical address, and I think P.O. boxes are included in that. So it's been a lot of back and forth with people. But I got my food I'm gonna eat, and I'm waiting on a response from my credit union about how soon they can send out my card number 3 to my new P.O. box address.